Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got more of your questions regarding the big angle from Monday Night Raw with the return of Shane McMahon, and more of your questions regarding WrestleMania and possible scenarios after WrestleMania. No shortage of questions, so let's get started today with the first one from the TNA General from NoDQForums.com, Isaac. Hey Aaron, do you think that Shane McMahon is back for the long haul, or is this just an angle designed to generate interest in WrestleMania? That's an interesting question, because I think the idea of Shane McMahon coming back was done as a result of WWE needing something big for WrestleMania. If John Cena and Randy Orton and everybody else was healthy for WrestleMania, who knows if we would even be seeing Shane McMahon right now. But the fact is, he's back, and I would definitely say there's a possibility that this could go on beyond WrestleMania, and we could see a major storyline develop in WWE past WrestleMania, which I really hope is the case, whether Shane McMahon sticks around or not. I hope that this is the beginning of something to look forward to after WrestleMania, because usually WWE puts all this hype into WrestleMania, and then afterwards it just goes downhill, and creatively there's no real direction after WrestleMania. So I'm hoping things will be different this year, and WWE will have a really compelling storyline for us to follow after WrestleMania. And I got more questions here related to that topic. This one comes from Corby W. How would Shane McMahon's role be if he would be under control of Raw? Well, one would think that if he was to win the match at WrestleMania and gain control of Raw, that he would become the new babyface GM. That seems to be the most logical role for him. And to me, that would be a nice change of pace from the heel authority figure. To me, that's been played out, and it would be nice to have a babyface authority figure. Now, maybe there are even bigger plans than that. Maybe Shane McMahon will be part of a major storyline post-WrestleMania against Triple H and Stephanie over the control of the company. That is also a possibility. Alright, this next one comes from Chris Scanlon. With Shane saying he wants to take over Monday Night Raw, could you see Stephanie being in charge of SmackDown and bringing back the brand split? There has been a lot of speculation about WWE doing a new brand extension ever since Monday Night Raw when Shane made his return. And this speculation got fueled even more when it was brought to attention that on the event page on Ticketmaster.com for an upcoming Raw in May in Baltimore, it's listed as Raw versus WWE. That's got people wondering if there's going to be some sort of brand extension or some kind of war where the company is split into two sides between Shane McMahon's group and Triple H and Stephanie's group. And it's possible. It's possible we could see Shane McMahon on Raw and then Triple H and Stephanie on SmackDown. I know that some people are concerned about that idea. They feel that the roster is not really deep enough to do a brand extension, but I feel that any change at this point would be a good thing, and it would give us a reason to tune into Raw every week and a reason to tune into SmackDown every week. Going back to earlier, it would be nice to have some sort of major storyline post-WrestleMania to keep people invested in watching the shows every week. So in my opinion, doing another brand extension, even though it's been done before, would not be the worst idea in the world, having Shane on one side and then having Triple H and Stephanie on another. Now, where does this leave NXT? This leads me to the next question here from Israel. With the Raw versus WWE event advertised, what if Shane took Raw to make his own company to go against Vince and Triple H? Invasion much? One thing you could possibly do as well is have NXT invade Raw. Now, maybe you could have Shane McMahon lose at WrestleMania and have Shane be in charge of NXT, or since NXT is Triple H's baby, you have Shane McMahon take control of Raw, and then Triple H and Stephanie recruit the NXT talents to come in and invade Monday Night Raw, and you have Raw versus NXT. That is also a possibility, and that might even be a better option if you want to do something that hasn't been done already. You know, instead of going back to the brand extension and doing that whole storyline again, you have the NXT league come up and try to take over, and you do something more similar to WWE versus WCW or something like the Invasion from 2001, only this time, since NXT is a WWE / Vince McMahon / Triple H creation, it's not going to get buried like the guys during the Invasion. So that might be the best way to go. There's a lot of different things you can do, and once again, that's why I'm hopeful that after WrestleMania, this isn't just going to be a one-time thing where Shane wins or Shane loses and then that's the end of it, and it's just back to business as usual in WWE and there's no follow-up and there's nothing really exciting to look forward to for the rest of the year. So I hope that's not the case. I hope they really go with this and they make a big deal out of this. So we'll see what happens. Lots of different ways they can go with this. And I got this one here from Nutty Rock Chick. What if Shane O'Mac was the leader of the new Balor / Bullet Club? Your thoughts. Please answer in video. That would surprise me. Honestly, if there was even a Balor Club in WWE, that would surprise me because it's not a WWE creation. I know that there's been references here and there from people. Finn Balor has his Balor Club, but I doubt that it would be referenced on WWE television. Maybe at some point Finn Balor will start his own faction and they'll do something similar to the Bullet Club or the Balor Club. That might be a possibility, but to see that on the main roster on Monday Night Raw, that would surprise me, honestly. To see even a Balor Club on Monday Night Raw, I just don't know if Vince McMahon would go for that because it's not his creation. Shane versus Undertaker makes no sense. Taker will not lose twice in 3 years after 21-0. And why do you think he would help the Authority? Please answer in video. Regarding Undertaker's role in all this, I'm hoping WWE has a good reason as to why Undertaker will agree to this match. My fear is that he'll just come out on Raw and say, yeah, I'm going to do the match because I backed down to no challenge. And it'll just be something very simple and no real explanation as to why he's going to agree to this match. So I'm hoping there's more to it than just Undertaker coming out and saying he'll do the match. I hope that there'll be some sort of storyline between Vince and Undertaker, and at some point Undertaker will be convinced to do the match. I'm really curious to see what they do exactly to set up Undertaker versus Shane and Undertaker's point of view in all this. And this coming Monday on Raw, Undertaker is scheduled to be there, and hopefully something interesting will go down and we'll see this storyline advance. This one comes from Ryan. Hey Aaron, first time asker. What are your thoughts on maybe Stone Cold screwing over Vince one more time at WrestleMania 32? Please answer in video. That's another possibility. Where does Stone Cold fit into WrestleMania? He's expected to be there this year in some fashion, and one would think that he would be doing something different from the usual routine of coming out and just cutting a promo and drinking beer, although that may end up happening. It may just be the usual, but you know, it would be nice if Stone Cold had a more significant role in WrestleMania this year and actually played a role in the outcome of one of the key matches. So that could be a possibility as well. Maybe Vince is in Undertaker's corner, and who knows what's going to happen with Undertaker, if he's going to be a babyface or a heel. We'll have to find out on Monday what direction WWE is going with The Undertaker. But depending on what happens, you could have Vince out there, and then you can have Stone Cold come out and cost Vince and stick it to Vince one last time. You know, the fun, nostalgic moment at WrestleMania 32. That is certainly a possibility as well. Alright, this one comes from Stefan. Do you think Triple H will ever return to his anti-authority DX persona? Please answer in video. I kind of felt that he did that on Raw this week when he came out in the leather jacket and the t-shirt. You know, this isn't the corporate Triple H. This is the game Triple H, the cerebral assassin, the guy who breaks all the rules. And he even did the crotch chop at the end to get the babyface pop, even though he's the heel in the storyline. So that's kind of anti-authority, trying to act like the babyface when you're supposed to be the heel. So I feel Triple H is already going in that direction, and I feel maybe for Triple H's ego, sometimes he has to do this just to remind not only Roman Reigns' storyline, but remind all the viewers who he is. He is the guy that breaks the rules, and you know, he doesn't want people to think of him as this corporate ass kisser. He wants them to remember him as the guy who was one of the bad boys in WWE history and broke all the rules as part of DX. Alright, this next one comes from Jay Chapman. I was really disappointed that Enzo and Cass did not show up at Fastlane. Do you think a debut could have saved the New Day segment? I was really surprised that they did not show up, and I figured because they were doing dark matches that it might have been a possibility for them to show up at Fastlane, and also it seemed to make logical sense for them to be there because the New Day have been running out of opponents. They beat the Usos, they beat the Dudleys, they've beaten all these tag teams, and it felt like a really good opportunity to have a new babyface tag team debut. That would have been a nice way to have them come in. In my opinion, it was a missed opportunity. Now, maybe WWE has different plans for the New Day. I'm guessing the New Day are going to be babyfaces at some point, and I even talked about this months ago, that before the New Day breaks up, they should go babyface and see what happens with that group as babyfaces before you split them up. You know, something similar to the Shield, when the Shield became babyfaces a couple of months before Rollins did the turn. So it would not surprise me if WWE decided they want to turn the New Day now and the eventual plan is to split them up and maybe give Big E a push as a single star. Maybe all three of them will get singles pushes, who knows. But that it could just be that WWE decided to go in that direction instead of keeping the New Day as heels and bringing in another babyface tag team to feud with them. Alright, this one comes from Ty Marshall. What are your thoughts on Ryback turning heel again? I really have nothing to say about it, really. I mean, it is what it is. It's WWE not really knowing what to do with the guy. So, like Big Show, they just turn a switch when they need a heel. They turn Ryback heel, I guess. Their attitude is like Big Show. He can do whatever role they need him to do. He can be the baby face who says, feed me more. And then he can come out there and be the bully who says Ryback rules. So it's just WWE, I think, trying to balance out their heels and faces, and that's what they decided to do. Am I a fan of it? Not really. He took Big Show's job. That's Big Show's job to turn heel and face every other week. So yeah, it's not going to do much for Ryback's character unless he's going to end up breaking Big Show's record for the most babyface and heel turns. Alright, this one comes from Sean T. Flick. What do you think of the decision to go with Ambrose versus Lesnar instead of Bray Wyatt? I'm personally bummed. Please answer in video. I think that it's the right decision. I never really felt the idea of Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. If Bray Wyatt had been booked stronger as a heel, then maybe you could have made a solid argument for it. But he's really done nothing all that significant in recent memory. And I felt it would have been a bad decision for Bray Wyatt to beat Brock Lesnar. And I know a lot of people would have been upset if Bray Wyatt did yet another job at WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar. So it was really a no-win situation for anybody. In a way, I like the idea of Lesnar versus Ambrose because Ambrose is realistically a bigger star than Bray Wyatt at this point, and I feel has more long-term potential. And they're doing this storyline where Ambrose is really no match, but he really does not want to back off, and he wants to keep fighting at all costs. And, I'm starting to get into this storyline with Dean Ambrose, and maybe, just maybe, Dean Ambrose will pull off a huge upset. And if somebody was going to beat Brock Lesnar, I'd rather it be Dean Ambrose than Bray Wyatt, honestly. So yeah, I think it is the right decision, and I think it'll be a great match. I think it'll be a more entertaining match than Lesnar versus Wyatt. In my opinion, I just didn't feel the dynamic between those two either. I think the stuff with Ambrose and Lesnar has been really good. And I think WWE realized that a couple weeks ago, and that's why they decided to go with Ambrose as Lesnar's opponent instead of Wyatt. Alright, this one comes from Brian. So Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar at Mania. I think this can steal the show, and now Bray may not have to lose at WrestleMania. Your thoughts, please. Well, Bray Wyatt may still lose at WrestleMania depending on what his match is. I'm guessing he will have some sort of match. People are asking me what's going on with Bray Wyatt now. Will he have a WrestleMania match, or will he be doing catering? I'm sure he'll have some kind of role at WrestleMania, and maybe they'll do a tag team match or something like that. Maybe he'll win the Battle Royal if they do that. I just think that it's too little too late to put Bray Wyatt in such a high-profile match against Brock Lesnar. As I said earlier, I feel that Ambrose has more potential long-term to be a major star, and I feel that he deserves a big spot at WrestleMania. And you know, I think that Ambrose and Brock is the right decision. And as you mentioned here, I think there's a good chance this could steal the show. No holds barred. It's WrestleMania, and it should be intense. You know, after watching that match at Fastlane, Dean Ambrose taking all those suplexes from Brock, I mean, that stuff was tremendous. So I'm confident they're going to have a great match at WrestleMania. So I am very happy that they're going forward with this. I definitely feel it's the right decision. Alright, this one comes from Hot Rod 276. Do you see Ken Shamrock going into the WWE Hall of Fame one day, and do you feel he deserves it? Here we go with the should this guy go into the Hall of Fame. You know my answer by now. If Coco can go in, anybody can go in. Yes. If the Hall of Fame was meant to be taken seriously, yes. Ken Shamrock was a major factor in WWE, even though he was only there for a couple of years. When he came in, he changed the game in WWE. He was the first guy in WWE to really put an emphasis on submission wrestling and tapping people out. And yes, Taz was doing it in ECW, but Shamrock was the guy who was doing it in WWE on the big stage. And that did make a difference. WWE was a different place when Shamrock left than when he came in, with the submissions and that whole aspect of people tapping out. Shamrock was a big asset to WWE, in my opinion, and I feel he does not get recognized enough. So yes, he should go into the WWE Hall of Fame. You know, he's a great athlete, and I definitely feel he made a solid contribution to the wrestling industry. Alright, so that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend on Facebook and Twitter. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the latest regarding WrestleMania. I will see you guys next time.